Zen Ghosts by John Muth. It's dedicated to John Dado Lore Roshi, the first person who told this story to John Muth, Zen teacher and abbot of Zen Mountain Monastery. Thank you. Michael, there's a ghost outside, said Carl. A what? Said Michael. A big, scary-looking ghost, said Carl. Is it Stillwater? Asked Michael. It doesn't have Stillwater's face, said Carl. Oh, wait. Yes, he does. Come in, Stillwater. Hi, Stillwater, said Addie. Happy almost Halloween. We are working on our costumes. I'm going to be a moon princess. What are you going to be? I'm a ghost, said Stillwater. What are you going to be? He asked Carl and Michael. I'm going to be a monster, said Carl, with a powerful heat ray and atomic breath. I will cause awesome destruction. I haven't decided what I'm going to be yet, said Michael. Either an owl or a pirate. I really like owls, and I really like pirates. Perhaps you will be an owl pirate, said Stillwater. He can't be an owl pirate, said Carl. There's no such thing as an owl pirate. He has to be one thing. He can be whatever he wants, said Addie. Look, Stillwater, do you like my costume? Yes, said Stillwater. It reminds me of something. This is a very special Halloween. There is going to be a full moon, and I know someone who will tell you a ghost story. Yay, said Addie. I love ghost stories, said Michael. It's not too scary, is it? Asked Carl. After trick-or-treating, meet me by the big stone wall, and I will take you to the storyteller, said Stillwater. When the children were done trick-or-treating, they waited by the stone wall. I'll trade you 3 tiny mints for 1 Snookers, said Addie. No, said Carl. I'm not giving you my Snookers. But you don't even like them, said Addie. Come on. I only like tiny mints if they are the crunch peppermint kind, said Carl. Besides, I'm saving my Snookers. I have one flavor like bamboo, said Stillwater. Wow, you scared me, said Carl. How long have you been standing there? Follow me, said Stillwater. I've never gone this way before, said Michael. Me either, said Carl. I think I have, said Addie. In a few moments, they arrived at Stillwater's house. It is very misty, said Addie. Come in, said Stillwater. They sat facing the front of the room. Then a panda who looked exactly like Stillwater came in and sat down. Is that Stillwater? Whispered Carl. Yes? No? I don't know. Shh, whispered Michael. The panda held up a brush and said, I'm going to draw you a story. Once, a long time ago, there was a young girl named Senjo. Her parents loved her very much, and they took very good care of her. She had a best friend named Otru, whom she had known for as long as she could remember. They were together so much that Senjo's father would laugh and say, You two are so well matched, you will probably end up marrying each other. As they grew up, they believed this would happen, and they fell in love. But when Senjo reached marrying age, her father suddenly became ill and couldn't work. He came to her one evening and told her she was to wed a nice man named Henryo. Henryo was prosperous and could take care of the family. Now Senju was very sad. She had always hoped she would marry her best friend, Ochu. When Ochu heard about this, he decided to leave that very night. He couldn't stand to be in the same village where his beloved Senjo would be married to someone else. At midnight, with a full moon, he secretly went to the river's edge, packed his boat, and left. He didn't tell anyone, not even Senjo. As he traveled up the river, he saw a vague figure running along the bank. His heart leapt when he saw that it was Senjo, and he hurried to her side. They hugged each other tightly and decided to go off together. Senjo and Ocho journeyed to a faraway village where they married and had 2 children. They were very happy. Then one day, Senjo came to Ocho in tears. She longed to be with her parents and to see her home again. Ocho felt the same way. They decided to return together and face the consequences. When they arrived at the dock, Ocho said, "Let me go see your father. I will apologize and find out how things are before you come." Senjo's father was very happy to see him. Ocho told him they were sorry for what they had done, and that he and Senjo were now a family with 2 children. Senjo's father was astonished. "What are you talking about?" He asked, "From the time you left the village, Senjo has been very sick in bed. She was unable to speak." Now Ocho was surprised. "But I promise you Senjo is well, and you are a grandfather. I will bring her to you." As Ocho went to the dock, Senjo's father rushed to his daughter's bedside and told her what Ocho had said. As she heard the story, she filled with joy. Without saying a word, she rose from her bed and went quickly down the stairs. At that very moment, the Senjo who had come ashore arrived at the house with Ocho. The 2 Senjos, upon seeing each other, merged and became one. A storyteller paused, then asked, "Which Senjo is the true one? Are they one or are they 2? Eddie and Michael looked at one another. They turned and looked beside them. Only a mask was sitting on the cushion. They looked at Stillwater sitting in front of the room. He was reaching into a bag of Halloween candy. "I got a bunch of whistles and tiny mints. Does anyone have bamboo-flavored Snookers?" "I've been saving one for you," said Carl. "Thank you," said Stillwater. "Thank you," said Carl. That was a good story. The story Senjo and Her Soul Are Separated was first told to me by John Dado Lori Roshi. It was originally written down by Master Wu Men Hu Hai, 1183 to 1260, a Chinese Buddhist monk, and appears in his collection of 48 koans called The Gateless Gate. Master Wu Men's book, along with the Blue Cliff Record, which contains 100 koans, are what Zen students sometimes contemplate in their efforts for enlightenment. Senjo's name and the title of the story vary in translations. Kinyu, parted from her higher soul, and Seijo's separated soul are just 2 of many other versions. Koans are basically questions that you have to answer for yourself. They appeal directly to the intuitive part of human consciousness, not the intellect. You can't think them through. You can't intellectualize them. You can, but you will miss the point. Foremost, Senjo's story is simply a great ghost story. It raises a hair on the back of my neck whenever I hear it. It is the kind of story that leaves you with more questions than it answers. Stories like that can't be neatly wrapped up and placed in a quiet shelf and forgotten. The thoughts they raise are constantly reemerging and changing as we go through our lives. In your hands is the story I took away from hearing 3 different Zen monks tell it. Originally, I heard it from Zen master Dado Lori Roshi. Then, with gratitude to Geoffrey Shugen, Arnold Sensei, and Conrad Ryushin Marcha, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that last one, Sensei, my understanding of the tale grew until it became Zen Ghosts. It's not an abstract, historic event that happened 1,000 years ago. It's very much about you and me today. I wanted to offer this story to children because, at a very young age, we discover questions about duality. There is the me I am with my parents, the me I am with my friends, that there is still another me with a different group of friends. I am my mother's son when I am with her, but I am also not my mother's son when I am with my friends. Do I act differently? What if they want me to do something my mother's son wouldn't do? Am I being dishonest with someone, with myself? When our hearts are taken in two different directions, where are we? This particular koan happens to be a very old Chinese story, but it is a story that happens every day in our lives. Koans don't have a right or wrong answer as much as they have responses that show understanding. In Zen Buddhism, the teacher who gives you a koan is looking to see if you truly have digested the question. And if you have, the answer becomes your own. Thank you for listening.